Hello and welcome back to X-Plane 11. Thank you very much for joining me in this video, and today we are going to be taking a look at this. This is the Zibo mod, the Zibo 737-800 mod, and I'm going to be showing you how to install it along with a bunch of add-ons and delivery. As you can see, this is in the British Airways livery, albeit I will admit that the registration number is incorrect, but we're going to gloss over that for now. This is just more of a demonstration of how to install all of this and then take you through a quick look at the Zibo mod. So we'll take a look inside, we'll have a look at the features, and we're also going to be looking at AviTab, as I'm sure you've seen from the title. So I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of AviTab. In this video, we're not going to be taking off, or we may take off, but not actually going to be flying around. That's going to be for another video. This one's all about installation and just taking a look at the Zibo mod in itself. So make sure you stay tuned for the next, I'd say probably about half an hour for that. Okay, so we find ourselves starting off over here in our Windows Explorer. Now, all the links to all the products that I'm using are going to be in the description box below. Make sure you just go ahead and download all of those links. So you can see here, I've already unzipped them, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one I'm not actually using, so really it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is what I'm going to be showing you in this video. So let's have a look. We've got AviTab. We've got the immersion pack for the AXP immersion pack for the Zibo mod. We've got the Zibo mod itself. There's the 737-800. We've got Terrain Radar, which is a plugin, and then we've got AviTab is also a plugin, by the way. And then we've got this Zibo mod, TK Zibo mod, which I'll show you what it is. It kind of looks really neat. So yeah, it's pretty good. That one is actually really quite good. It just darkens up the textures a bit. I kind of prefer it personally. Obviously the person who made it preferred that, but yeah, I'll show you how that all goes. So what you want to do is you want to download all of these, like I said, link it in the description, and then go ahead and unzip them. You'll get a bunch of folders. Take the first one. This is the first one we've got to go for. Look for the B737-800X, whether it's 329E or 329F or 330, whatever it is. Go ahead and grab that, and you want to copy that or move that into aircraft right there. Nowhere else. We don't have to put in extra aircraft or anything, or laminar. So you can see this is where I've got the Just Flight ones. I've got the Robin. I've got that Double Trouble I was showing off, was it a couple of episodes ago? So we just dump that right there. That's step 1 done. That is the Zibo mod installed. That's it. The next step is to go into this immersion pack. Now you don't have to, if you've done this, that is all you need to have the Zibo mod running, but I'm going to show you how to do the next parts. So we go for the immersion pack. Now this does have a manual that comes with it. There is warnings in that manual about what aircraft, AI aircraft you can have, so on and so forth, so do be careful. But I'm just going to show you how to install it. You can read the manual if you wish to do so. All you do is go into this folder, delete that Fmod folder, and then move that into there. Simple. So all you've got to do is delete that and move that across, like so. Delete, move across. Now make sure you keep a copy of the zipped file, just in case you want to go back to the other sound. So there we go, that's 1 done. That's 2 done. These are pretty big, as you can see, that's almost 3 gigabytes. They are pretty big files, but the zipped up files are a lot better. As you can see, 1.2 gigabytes for that, or 1.13 gigabytes for that. 330,000 kilobytes, so 330 meg for that, so on and so forth. Next up, we need to, now we can do this, is we're going to actually install a livery. I'll give you a link to these liveries. In fact, I'll just give you a link. What I'll do is I'll just give you a link to this one livery if I can find it. So yeah, we'll have a look at this first, this single livery here. So unzip the livery and you'll see it comes up like this. Now I think this livery is just for the standard 737-800. Nevertheless, it does work. All you do is you go into liveries here and you copy this or move it, that into there. So you can see Zibo comes with the KLM mod, a standard KLM, livery, a Delta livery, and a Qantas livery. But we're going to put a British Airways one in because, you know, I'm British, so that's the kind of stuff I want to do. So once you've got that in, now again, you don't have to do this. We'll go back to our aircraft and we're going to install this, the TK Zibo mod. I'll get rid of that for now as well. The TK Zibo mod. So all you do is go into this, and you can see there's a bunch of stuff in here. What you want to do is you copy this objects folder right here, and you can see that this is actually, it's in the README as well, so it tells you what you need to do there. But all you do is you copy this objects folder, back out one, into that objects folder. So just straight across, and it will replace a bunch of stuff. That's all you've got to do. Job done. Then, to finish this off, there are alternatives, by the way, for more bluish cockpit reflections or reduced cockpit reflections or whatever you want. But we're going to leave that out for now. We're going to go to livery, and the livery you wish this to work in. Now, you probably want to put it in all the liveries, but I've just put it in the one for now. All you do is go into the livery, and you can see all of them are the same. Go into objects and copy this into here. That's the next step. That is that mod done. That's just going to darken a bunch of things up, which I kind of prefer. I prefer the darker look on a 737 as opposed to a brighter look. So it's more muted. It's a little bit more dark grey as opposed to the brighter grey. And it does, personally, I think it looks pretty good. But that's up to you. You can check it with and without and make a decision for yourself. Next up, after that, we need to go back into the Explain Routes folder, like so. Go into Resources, then go into Plugins. And as you can see, I've put two more in here. All we need to do is open up. So if I get rid of that folder now, go to Terrain Radar, and you can see there's a bunch of stuff here. Just go into this one, not with the numbers, just that, and copy that across. That's Terrain Radar installed. Then we go with AviTab, same thing, wait for the part without the numbers, so you can see that's one there, and you've got a bunch of information there. Copy that across. And that is it. That is your Terrain Radar installed, which works on other aircraft, by the way. AviTab also works on other aircraft. That's 2 installed. You've got the Zibo mod itself installed. You've got an alternative texture set for the cockpit installed. You've got a new livery installed. And you've got an updated sound set installed. Brilliant. Now what we're going to do is we're going to jump into X-Plane 11 and take a look at the Zibo mod. But before I do that, I'm going to quickly show you the default mod. And then we're just going to see if there is any differences that we can spot. This is my first time in the Zibo mod, but of course I am going to see what kind of differences there are. Naturally, the Zibo mod has far more detail inside the mod itself and inside the systems, in terms of what's actually simulated, what works, what doesn't work, that kind of stuff. But we're going to also see if we can see a visual difference. Okay, so here we are in the 737, the default 737. It's about 8 in the morning or 8:30 in the morning, something like that, at Echo Golf November X-Ray. Now, I'm just going to have a quick look at this just to see what differences we're going to be able to spot immediately. So we can see over here we've got a bunch of stuff. Let's see what we've got. We've got terrain. Yep, we've got a terrain radar. Obviously, this is the terrain radar now working, so we're going to show that off a little bit more afterwards. But I just want to see what kind of things seem to be working or not working. So, I mean, generally, these things all seem to be lit up, all seems to be working quite nicely, and the general quality of this is pretty good. What I will say is the sound doesn't seem too good on this particular aircraft. This is a default aircraft again. We're going to swap to the Zibo very soon, and we've got an FMC that doesn't seem, well, it seems to be okay. We seem to have a bunch of stuff. I do like the color on this FMC, but yeah, it's not perfect. I can already tell you now that it's not perfect, and there is I think that though many of the features work, let's go try this, test this one. Where's the test button? Up there. See, everything up here doesn't seem to work. Does that dome light work? That dome light does. Can I switch that off, please? Yeah, that dome light works, so there is that. These seem to work over here. This doesn't seem to work. This doesn't seem to work. I wonder if the Zibo mod has that working. The yaw damper does work. Let's see. Well, that seems to work there. That's our indicators there. Should have our testing. Let's have a quick look. Again, this is not the Zibo mod just yet. Let's have a look. We've got our stall warning tests here. These ones don't seem to work. Okay. That button doesn't work. These don't turn. That doesn't turn. These don't move. Like I said, that seems to work. These seem to be operative. That doesn't seem to be operative. The passenger oxygen does. These do. They kind of work all together in one go. The probe heats do work. That one doesn't. These don't move. These do. That's good. Obviously, we'd put those over to automatic. Reset fans don't seem to work. Packs don't seem to work. So yeah, it's not brilliant. But what we're going to do now is we can see the difference. Let's see what does work in the Zibo mod. So let's go jump into the Zibo mod and see what does work. Also, you're going to notice this is the standard color. When you see the Zibo mod with the new colors, you're going to see a much better color set personally, anyway, for me. So let's go ahead and swap the aeroplane. Alright, and now we're in the Zibo mod, and you can immediately tell things are just a little bit different. Let's get rid of that. First of all, here we go. Here's part of the Zibo mod, and there's AviTab. This is actually part of AviTab as well, but this is specifically made, I believe, for the Zibo mod. But we are going to go into the AviTab part fairly soon. So let's have a look at what is available here. Well, we've got a very different setup. ATIS request. Let's see what this gives us. I've never tried this before. Nav data out of date. Yeah, clear that. Echo Golf November X-ray. Again, if you guys are a little confused as to how it works, how this all works, let's just come up with that. Don't worry. At some point, if you guys do want to know how this aircraft works, I'm sure I'm going to be doing a lot of flights with this aircraft if it is really that good. Right, so that's going to do whatever it needs to do. I think that's in progress. So let's see if that picks up the ATIS. So that's one thing that we can pick up. Now if we look over on this side, we can go into the FMC. There you go. That's a more realistic FMC. That looks a lot more like what I would expect of one of these. Here we go, ATIS. Alrighty. So that's our current date of when the ATIS has come up. ATIS uplink 1720. I'm not sure why it says 1720. That's 2018 5/4. Well, this must be the date that. No, I have no idea about that one. Echo Golf November X-ray. There we go. 1720 Zulu. Yeah, for some reason it has the time wrong. That's one thing it's got wrong. 240 at 7 knots. Visibility pretty much unlimited. Broken clouds at 3,200. Temperature 16 degrees Celsius. Dew point 10. QNH 1023 hectopascals. Which I don't think it is. Funnily enough, I don't think that is the ATIS for here. Right now, that is. Interesting. Okay, well, if we go back to the FMC, you can see that is a proper FMC. 737-800 with winglets. There's our nav data when it's active. There's our engine rating. We can go to index. We can go to, not that one, position in it. So we can always go, let's see. Can we pick it up from here? Let's see if I can pick it up from... Oh, actually, I don't need that because it's already knows where that is. Let's clear that. That's the one I need. I'm very used to the PMDG 737, you see. So let's say, for example, if we were to put Echo Golf November X-ray, you can see that this is very familiar. This is very familiar to me. And then you can go to the route menu and sort a bunch of stuff out. So you can have origin, destination, company route, flight number. You can save the route. Performance, we can go for a 0 fuel weight or whatever we want to do. Get rid of that first of all. There you go. We can put in our reserves, how much is planned. Transition altitude in the UK, the altitude is 6,000. Cost index, so on and so forth. We can put in a whole bunch of stuff. We've got our N1 limits we can go for. Yeah, we're going to go for that and that. So we can go there, we can go to takeoff, we can go flaps 5, for example. Obviously, I'm not doing this properly, but you can see how this is actually going to work. You can check runway conditions, so you can see that. You've got runway wind, so on and so forth. One of the things I will say is that the sound's really nice, very realistic so far from what I can see. Also, you can just see how lovely this interior looks, and I will go into a different time of day fairly soon. But anyway, moving on from that, you know, if we were to go back to the FMC index, you can see we've got takeoff, approach, offset, nav data, nav status. Nav status doesn't seem to work. We've got nav data, we've got offset. Let's see something I want to put in, and I don't know whether this works. Let's try this. I just want to put a fix around this airport, because this is something that is good for me, and I remember reading somewhere that this did not work. So I'm about to see. There we go, there's our first one. Okay, let's go for /2. The fixes work. /5 and /7.5. Beautiful. So now we can actually have fixes, and you can see that we can always zoom out, and there you go, that gives us the fixes. If you're doing circuits, that works pretty well for us. We've got obviously we've got the traffic stuff here, we've got our terrain, and that should bring up the terrain as you would expect. We can also put up weather radar if we really wanted to. Obviously that's not going to work here at the moment, I don't think we've got any weather around here, so it's pretty clear. So we've got that. That's wonderful. I love the way this looks. It just looks a little bit better in every which way. Let's have a look at these. Let's switch on some of the lights. Admittedly, this is using some of. It looks like it is using some of the X-plane stuff. Or the X-plane panels. The reason I say that is because that is exactly the same low resolution as the other one. They really need to up the resolution there. More to that. I would be happy with that. That's not quite so happy with. But again, that's not the fault of the Zibo creator. That is literally the default X-plane one. So there you go. So a few things that need to be adjusted here and there, I guess. These are the lights on this side. That's a map light, which doesn't seem to be in operation. We've got that looks like a coffee there. That looks pretty good. Everything looks nice around this side. Let's go ahead and just want to switch this on, don't I? I'm not a fan of the floodlights, but I'm going to show you the floodlights in a moment after I switch these on. I'm a fan of these lights. I really am. But here we go. Here's a floodlight, for example, when I switch this on. Here's a dome light, first of all, which still works. Obviously, there you go. There's a nice bright dome light. Switch that off though. Let's switch on the floodlights. Now I normally use the dome light when I'm starting the aircraft up. Then I'll use the floodlights all the way up to the runway. I'll have the floodlights on, and then after that I will swap over to just the displays, just the background lighting there. There you go. There are the floodlights, which, you know, they don't look bad. I will say that they are not too bad. There's another floodlight somewhere. I know there's another floodlight somewhere. That one? There you go. So you can see there are some floodlights, and like I said, they don't look bad, but I prefer them. I just prefer them off. That's just my personal preference. So I'm going to switch those off, and you can see why. It just looks so much better like this. Anyway, let's go ahead and just see if these work up here. They may not. I really don't know. Each one's individual. There you go. That works. This works. Look, we can select this now. Beautiful. The reset fans work. Packs work. I'll just put that back onto automatic before we ruin everything. Lovely. We can put this to that. We can put that on, put that on, put that on. Actually, not that one. Logo can go on. We can put landing lights on. All of them. Turn off lights on, taxi light can be off. That could go into continuous, for example. That can go to both. I'm only doing this very quickly, so don't be alarmed if you're a little bit confused on this. Right, there you go. Those work, as well as these. Bit of a delay on that one, and that one. Does this work? Yes, it does. There you go. So that's really good. That works too. Can I change this? I can change that too. Lovely. And I assume I can change these. Yes, I can change these too. Also, I think I've just ruined everything over here. Fantastic. So these things all seem to work now too. So they've added that extra functionality, which is really good. Also, just looking at that just looks awesome. You have to admit that looks awesome. Anyway, before we take a look at this finally and take it off, just to end this episode, let's take a look at this. So this is part of the Zibo mod 2. So we've got a PA system. You can see we can have a welcome speech, whatever. Personally, I just tend to leave them off. We've got turbulence warning, which you might be able to hear in the background. I don't actually know. We've got this flight leg. We've just got different stuff. Start loading, cleaning. We've got weight, fuel, and balance, so we can fix whatever else we want to do. We can move things around. I guess we can enter things into the fuel tanks, so on and so forth. Pretty good, pretty easy to use. We've got our ground services, so we can set chocks, push back. We've got connected GPU. Really awesome stuff. And we've got all our settings, as you can see. So fuel gauge, over under. Let's have a look at what this is doing. Let's really have a look at this. So we've got a fuel gauge. Interesting. I don't see anything moving. Maybe it's on here. ND display. That gets rid of the rings. Look at that. That gets rid of the rings there. We've got the flight control, brake temperature. We can switch them on and off. So that is actually on, I think, this page here. Yeah, there we go. That's what our brake temperature and everything's going to be. We've got our hardware configuration to make sure that things work for us. We've got realism settings, so you can see align time. This is how it takes real time or long or short, refueling time, pause at top of descent, tire blown advanced, so on and so forth. Visual effects we've got, so windshield effects. We can have whatever we want on, XE or off. Don't know what XE actually means. Then we've got windshield reflections, gauge reflections. Technically, I kind of want this the opposite way. We can hide and show. Passengers, fantastic there. We can calibrate things. We've got the aircraft configuration, so you can see what do we want our units in, pounds or kilograms. So you can see that that would be, where's my fuel weight? There it is, right there. You can see that's in kilograms. Go over here, that should be in pounds. There you go. Is in pounds. We've got our barometer units either in inches of mercury or hectopascals, so you can swap that out. Minimums either radio or baro. And you got that. We've got the hide the yoke, showing hide the yoke. Chocks on startup. Engine no run is cold and dark or turnaround, so that just gives you a different mode of aircraft configuration ready to go. So obviously cold and dark will take longer to start up, turnaround will be much faster. Radial course can be on or off of the VORs. Flight plan save format, how you want to save it as an FMX or an FMS. And we can have simple and detailed checklist. Now if we just go to simple checklist and go over to the checklist, which is something I want to show you, there you go. There's some checklist right there. In fact, we've got checklist for the whole thing, and to move left and right you just go like that. So there you go. Very simple. And you can check these, you can actually tick these. So for example, and I'm actually going to swap over to, in this I'm actually going to swap over to detailed checklist. I'm going to go for just before, don't really have, where's the one I want? Takeoff. There, let's go for this one. Verify. Departure runway correct? Yes. Strobe lights are on. Other lights are on. Transponder is in TARA. So that should be... how do I get to my transponder? It's back here, isn't it? I've got to find the transponder. There it is. There you go. That's in TARA. Go back here. I need to set up some views. That's something I need to do. Anyway, like I said, I'm not going to be showing you all of this. Landing lights are on. Right, we're going to sort this out when it comes over to it. So we can go into takeoff, go around, whatever it is. We can go into roll mode, select or verify, flaps retract on schedule. Yeah, we understand that. I know this. We're not going to be doing that. I'm just going to be taking this aircraft off. That is pretty much all I'm going to do. I'm just going to bring that trim back a smidge too. And I'm going to... yeah, we're just going to take this aircraft off. What I do want to do is show you before we finish this episode, which is kind of a long episode, AviTab. So this is AviTab, and can be included on a number of stuff, and you can see it comes up with some of this. You've got charts, which allow us to show PDFs in various locations. So you can see here, it just opens up this temporary PDF at the moment, and you can just scroll up and down. So you can put your charts in there for certain airports or whatever you want to do. We can also get airport information. So for example, I can go for Echo Golf November X-Ray, which is where we are. Go that, East Midlands, yep, next, there you go. So we've got our frequencies. ATIS 128.22. So if I were to go to 128.22 on this, 128, what was it? 128.22. There you go.
East Midlands.
There you go.
Information Lima.
East Midlands.
800 Zulu weather.
Fantastic.
Wind calm. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions.
So I can switch that off. That's my ATIS, so that works. We've got ground, we've got our tower, we've got approach, we've got our runway with the information. So you can see runway 9, ILS Cat 1, runway 27, ILS Cat 3. The ID is India. Well, we've gone through this before on my flight tutorials, and that is the frequency for the localizer. That's the actual course, 89 degrees magnetic or 269. There's the weather updated. There's our actual weather. That's not our weather. Interesting, that's not our weather. I think there may be a bug there. Yeah, I don't think that's our weather. Although it doesn't show wind, so maybe 240 at 7. No, it does show wind, 240 at 7. I don't think that's our weather. Anyway, moving on from that, you can have routes, so you can enter departure code for example, like that. Airport arrival code, let's go for, I don't know, Echo Golf Lima Lima, why not? Gives you a distance, direct distance, so on and so forth. You can even put in different bits and bobs, so you can go, I'm not sure how to get out of this, we can go to upper airways or whatever we want to do, so you can sort all of that out. And lastly, we do have a map, which is really good to see. So there you go. By the way, that's that's Donington Park, that's Donington Circuit. I've spoken about this a couple of times. That's the actual racetrack, and there's the airport. And you can see there's the A453 and the M1. There's the A453 and the M1. So that's the roads that we see. There's that town of Kegworth, as I said. There's the Ratcliffe Power Station right there. So you can see that. And there's the roads that go in towards Derby and Nottingham. And down this way towards Leicester and Loughborough. So there's Loughborough there. Leicester down here. And so on and so forth. So that is all shown on a map, which is actually really neat, because that gives you a lot of information about what you're looking at. And I wonder if there's anything else. There you go. You can download map tiles on demand. You can switch different, go over different bits and bobs. Really clever. And we can also center back on the plane. So if we're somewhere out there, click that, centers back on the aircraft. So anyway, let's end this episode by not going to AviTab, but taking this aircraft off. Actually, before I do that, I kind of want to show you this at night. Then we'll take this aircraft off. Alright, this is it at night. And you can see sometimes why we need the background lights on just a little bit. But how nice does that look? It really does look stunning. And I'm actually going to have, for this takeoff, I'm just going to have the lights on just a little. There we go. And I'm going to do this. This is how I'm going to take my screenshot for the episode, because I mean, just look at that. That is the Zibo mod. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on X-Plane 11 and the Zibo mod. One thing I will say that this mod does not have yet is the heads-up display. It doesn't have the heads-up display. I'm actually going to go a little bit back in time, maybe to about there, and that's how I'm going to take off. Let's get the flaps down to 1, 2, 3. You'll get to hear the sound of the engines as I take off. So let's bring that up. Listen to this. Far more realistic than the default. Far more realistic than the default. Let's bring that up to 089. Let's bring our speed up to 200. Although that's not really the speed I want, but let's bring that up to 200 nevertheless. We've got this tuned in. Oops, let's move a little bit forward. We've got this tuned in correctly onto 109.35, which, as you can see from the AviTab, is the ILS for this runway. We've got our rings. Let's go ahead and bring that down. Let's swap this into plan mode. No, let's leave it into that mode. That looks good. That looks good. We don't need to go into systems. We can keep our engines up like so. Great. All of this is good. We are ready to go. Let's take off. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on X-Plane 11. Leave a comment in the comments box below letting me know what you think of the Zibo mod if you have installed it. Hopefully this would have helped you guys install the Zibo mod. And of course, stay tuned for some proper flying and proper reviews of this mod, not just having a quick first look. That is really nice. It's a bit quiet, but I'm sure I can make that louder when I want to.
80 knots.
80 knots confirmed. Right, I know there's no V1 or rotate here, but I'm just going to rotate now. Positive rate.
Positive rate.
Gear up. And look at that. That was beautiful. That really was a beautiful takeoff. Flaps up. And I'll start bringing the power back a little bit. Like so. Yep, you can support me on Patreon, www.patreon.com/ecgadget. Your support would be massively appreciated. 1,000 confirmed. Your support would be massively appreciated on that. Obviously, it helped me get a whole bunch of stuff, but that is the Zibo mod. It's beautiful. You can also follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/ecgadget if you haven't yet done so. You can also catch me on social media at ecgadgetlp for both Twitter and Instagram to find out more about the kind of videos that I do and just get to chat with me in general. This looks stunning. I am not going to say anything apart from the fact that the moment I took that off, I was blown away, and hopefully you guys really enjoyed that video. I enjoyed making it. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I'll see you guys next time in X-Plane 11.